Hi everyone, welcome to this video. These are the two things that you will learn from this video. You will learn methods to solve problem-solving questions, and you will also be able to inculcate good calculation techniques. Let's get started. And remember, whenever you prepare, ensure that you prepare in an intense manner, because intense preparation always beats lazy preparation. As always, the two-step process to achieve your dream score is that of structured preparation followed by mixed problem solving. And in this video, we will be focusing on mixed problem solving. Let's get started. So in this video, we will be solving three questions which are of the same type. In the first question, we will discuss two methods to solve these type of problems. And in the second question, we will take a closer look at calculation techniques so that you can quickly arrive at the correct answer. And in the third question, we will add one more layer of complexity. Now, after we are done this, in part B of this video, we will try to think about what we have learned in this video so that we ensure that we solidify and we are able to recollect these things whenever it's required on the exam day. So let's get started, and do remember to subscribe to this channel, and if you like content like this, hit the like button and let me know in the comments what more you would like to get from this channel. So let's get started with the first question. You have it on the screen now. I'm giving you 2 minutes. Give it a try and then let's take a look at this question together. Alright, we are back. I hope you have given it a try. Now let's read the question. The annual report of Corporation Z highlighted that profits decreased by 20% from the previous year. However, profits as a percentage of sales increased by 20%. Total sales for that year were approximately what percent of sales for the previous year? So that's the question. Now, in this part, we will discuss two methods to solve these type of questions. Now the typical method is using variables. So let's take a look at this first. So over here it's mentioned that profit decreased by 20 years between the 2 years, right? So let's say that initially the profit was P. Then if you decrease that by 20%, the profit became 0.8P, right? So how did you get this? This is nothing but P minus 20% of P, or P minus 0.2P, which is the same as 0.8P. So the profit changed from P to 0.8P. And over here it's also mentioned that the profit as a percentage of sales increased by 20%. So we can say that P by S increased by 20%, or it became 1.2 times P by S. Now how do you get this 1.2 times P by S? It's nothing but P by S plus 20% of P by S, which is P by S plus 0.2 P by S, which is equal to 1.2 P by S. All right. Now, after having these two changes which is mentioned in the question, remember we are trying to find out total sales for that year were approximately what percentage of sales for the previous year. So basically we are trying to understand the change in the sales. Similarly, like over here we had the change in profit. So we also want to know the change in sales between the 2 years. Now over here we know that P became 0.8 P and we know that P by S became 1.2 times P by S, right? So I can say that this 1.2 times P by S is equal to 0.8 times P divided by X times S. How do I get that? So this is the new P by S ratio, right? So 1.2 times P by S. And how do we know this? We know this because it's directly given that it increased, the profit as a percentage of sales increased by 20%. So I know that in year 2, the profit by sales ratio was 1.2 times the profit by sales of year 1. So I know this. Now, if I were to independently calculate P by S for the second year, I would take P for the second year and I know that that's 0.8 P. So that's how I have this over here. And then let's say S is X times S, where S is the initial year's sales. So that's how I get this, right? So 1.2 times P by S is equal to 0.8 P by X into S. Now you just need to find X to solve this question. So let's make some space over here. All right. Now I know that 1.2 times P by S is equal to 0.8 P divided by X into S. So we have already discussed this. Now I have P by S on the left hand side as well as on the right hand side. So this simplifies to 1.2 is equal to 0.8 divided by X, or I can say that X is equal to 0.8 divided by 1.2, and you can simplify this as 8 by 12, which is equal to 2 by 3, right? So 2 by 3 is the answer. So that's 67%, right? So what does this mean actually? Initially the sales was X and we took that the sales became X into S, right? So it became 2 by 3 into S. So from S, it became 2 by 3 into S. So 2 by 3 into S is nothing but 67% of S, right? And that's what's asked you over here. Total sales for that year were approximately what percentage of sales for the previous year. So total sales for the second year was 67% or 2 by 3 of the sales of the previous year, which is the answer. So option B. So this is the first method. Now let's see how you can solve this by assuming numbers, which is the second method. So let's take a look at this over here. Now again, coming back to the question, it's mentioned that profits decreased by 20% when we are going from year 1 to year 2. So I can say that if the profit in year 1 was 100, then the profit in the year 2 would be 80, because 80 is 20% lower than 100, right? 100 minus 20% of 100 is equal to 80. All right. Now the second piece of information over here, it says profit as a percentage of sales, or P by S, increased by 20%. So I can say that if P by S is equal to 100 by 1, let's say, how do I do this over here? Again, we are just assuming numbers. We have already assumed P as 100. So let's assume S as 1 to make the calculation easy. So if P by S is equal to 100 by 1, then it's mentioned that this increased by 20%. So 100 by 1 is nothing but 100. So if you're increasing 100 by 20%, that's 100 plus 20% of 100, which is nothing but 120. So P by S changed from 100 by 1 to 120. All right. Now this 120 over here is something that we have independently from the information given in the question. So I know 120 is the profit by sales ratio for the second year. Now, if I were to independently calculate it, I would take the profit for second year, which is 80, and then divide it by the sales for the second year. So I can say that 120 is equal to 80 by S, where S is the sales for the second year. Now I can just calculate that S is equal to 80 by 120, and that again gives you the answer as 0.67 or 2 by 3, right? So again, you're getting the same thing over here. Now over here, initially we assumed that sales was 1 and 80 by 120 is nothing but 0.67, right? So sales is changing from 1 to 0.67, which is the value that we assumed, right? So again, the question is total sales for the second year were approximately what percentage of sales for the previous year. So this is actually 0.67 or 67% of 1, right? Where 1 was the sales which we assumed for the previous year. So that's why the answer is again coming to 67%. All right, let's take a moment and quickly recollect and think about what we've learned so that we solidify our learning. So we've seen that you can solve these type of things in two ways, and you can go ahead in whichever way you want. Now, the normal way is variables. If you can practice and get comfortable with assuming numbers, you can see that it's a little bit faster, right? But again, remember, you can only apply it in the exam if you have practiced this sufficient number of times so that you don't make silly mistakes. Now over here in variables, we have seen that we just converted the information into variables, and then we got to this part over here and we found x, which was 2/3, and then we got 67%. Now in the case of assuming numbers, it's a little bit easier over here if you practice. Again, let me highlight that you have to ensure that you practice this sufficient number of times before the exam. Don't try to just directly assume numbers on the exam day if you have not practiced it before, because that would result in errors and wastage of time. So you should be thorough with the method, then you can go ahead with this. And we will do 2 more questions where we will be focusing on assuming numbers so that you can get strong with this method as well. So over here we've seen that profit changed from 100 to 80, and the P/S ratio changed from 100/1 to 120, and then this 120 is something that we got from the information in the question, and if we were to independently calculate it, that would be 80, which is the profit in the second year, divided by S, and using this we found the new S, which was 0.67. So the initial sales, which was 1, changed to 0.67, and 0.67 is nothing but 0.67 into 1, or 67% of 1, and that's the answer, which is option B. Alright, so you have learned an interesting thing over here. Now it's very beneficial for you if you go ahead and solve the remaining 2 questions to solidify your learning, and we are also going to slightly increase the level of difficulty so that you are challenged and you keep learning. So let's go to the second question, and in this question we will also take a look at how to improve your calculation, and we will take a look at some calculation techniques as well in the context of similar types of questions. Now do remember to subscribe to this channel and hit the like button, and let me know in the comments what more you would like to get from this channel. So over here you have the second question on the screen. Now I'm giving you 2 minutes. Now go ahead and take a look at it on your own and try to solve it, and then let's solve this question together. Alright, we are back. I hope you have given it a try. Now let's read this question. The annual report for Corporation W indicated that profits this year increased by 15% from the previous year. However, profits as a percent of sales decreased by 25%. Total sales for this year were approximately what percentage of sales for the previous year? So that's the question. You can see it's pretty similar to the previous question. So over here, when we are solving it together, I will be using the assume the numbers method. Alright, so it's mentioned over here that profits increased by 15% when you're going from year 1 to year 2. So if I assume the profit to be 100 in the year 1, it would have become 115, or 100 plus 15% of 100. That gives you 115 for year 2. Now it's also mentioned that profit as a percent of sales, or the P by S ratio, decreased by 25%. Alright, so again we are assuming numbers. So let's say P by S was 100 by 1. Okay, and this has to decrease by 25%. Now 100 by 1 is nothing but 100 itself. Now if you decrease 100 by 25%, that's 100 minus 25% of 100, which is 100 minus 25, which is equal to 75. Alright, so we have these two pieces of information. Now if we were to calculate this, that is the P by S ratio for the second year independently, then we would take the profit and divide it with the new sales, right? So this 75 over here is equal to 115 divided by the new sales. Alright, now from this we can find that the new sales is equal to 115 divided by 75. Now let's go ahead and try to simplify this. So I can see that 5 is a factor of the numerator as well as the denominator. So this simplifies to 23 divided by 15. Alright, now let's make some space and see how you can easily calculate this and find which of these is the answer. Again, you can see all of these are greater than 100%, and this also is greater than 100%. So there is nothing that you can immediately eliminate. Let me make some space over here. We have seen that S new, or the new sales, is equal to 23 divided by 15. Now let's see how you can easily calculate this. So over here you have 23 in the numerator, and this 23 over here can be rewritten as 15 plus 8. Now why did I take 15 plus 8? Because the denominator is 15, right? So I'm just seeing how much more than 15 is this 23 over here. Now this 23 by 15 can be written as 15 plus 8 divided by 15, right? And if you split the denominator, this becomes 15 by 15 plus 8 by 15. Alright, and 15 by 15 is nothing but 100%, and the percentage which this fraction over here is above 100 is actually 8 by 15, or it's attributed to this 8 by 15. So to find out which among these is the correct answer, you just need to find out 8 by 15. Alright, and it's not yet over. Now let's see how you can quickly find out 8 by 15. For this, let's again take a look at the denominator over here, which is 15. Now what is 10% of 15? That's equal to 1.5, right? We know that to find 10% of something, you just need to move the decimal point by 1 point towards the left. So 10% of 15 is nothing but 1.5. Now again, what does this imply? If the fraction over here was 1.5 divided by 15, then it would have been 10%. But over here, the numerator is more than 1.5, right? So 8 by 15 is definitely more than 10%. So let's try to get as close as possible in an easy manner to the numerator over here, which is 8. So if I take 20%, and again, you don't need to do that in the exam, you will see that once you know this technique, you can get pretty quickly to the answer that you want. But over here, I'm just demonstrating it in a slow manner so that you can learn well. Now, if we take 20% of 15, that would be whatever we got by taking 10% and into 2, right? Because 20% of something is nothing but 2 times 10% of something. So 20% of 15 is nothing but 2 times 1.5, which is 3. Now again, 3 is also quite far from the numerator, which is 8. So let's again go closer to 8. So if I take 40% of 15, that's 4 times 10%, which is 4 into 1.5, which is 6, right? Now 6 is still closer to 8, but we can still get closer. So let's try that. If I again take 50% of 15, That's nothing but 5 into 1.5, or you can also think of it as 10% more than 40%, right? So at 40%, you already were at 6. So if you add 10% to it, that's 6 plus 1.5, which gives you 7.5. Now this is pretty close to 8, right? Now, so you can say that this 8 by 15 is a little bit more than 7.5, because for 7.5 is a little bit more than 50%, right? Because if it was 7.5 divided by 15, it would have been 50%, but the numerator is a little bit more than 7.5, right? So this 8 by 15 is a bit more than 50%. Now, what about 60%? If you take 60%, this would become 9, right? 7.5 plus 10%, which is 7.5 plus 1.5, which gives you 9. And that's too much, that's more than 8, right? So we can say that this 8 by 15 is less than 60%. So 100 plus more than 50% and less than 60% is the answer. And you can see that there is only one option which is in that range, which is 153%. So the correct answer to this question is option D, which is 153%. Let's now proceed to question number 3, and in this question we will add one more layer of complexity. Alright, so you have the question on your screen. Now I'm giving you 2 minutes, give it a try, and then let's take a look at this question together. Alright, we are back. I hope you have given it a try. Now let's read this question. The annual report for Corporation M disclosed that this year's profits increased by 18% compared to the previous year. Profits as a percentage of sales, however, showed a decrease of 20%. If the absolute difference between this year's profits and last year's profits was $72,000 and the profit as a percentage of sales in the previous year was 10%, approximately how much more or less were this year's sales compared to last year's? Alright, so that's the question. Now let's proceed. Over here it's mentioned that the profits increased by 18% when you're comparing last year and this year, right? So we are all over here also in this question, we will proceed by assuming numbers. So I can say that if the profit in the previous year was 100, it would have increased to 118 because it's increasing by 18%. Alright. Now it's also mentioned that profit as a percentage of sales decreased by 20%. So if I assume this as 100 by 1 and if I decrease this by 20%, this becomes 80. Okay. So this 80 over here is the profit to sales ratio for the second year. And if we were to independently calculate it, we would take the profit for the second year, which is 118, and divide it with the new sales. So I can say 80 is equal to 118 divided by S, and S is equal to 118 divided by 80. Now remember, the initial sales was taken as 1 over here, and the new sales what we got over here is 118 divided by 80. Now in this ratio, the numerator is greater than the denominator. So this value over here will be greater than 1, right? So, and finally in the question, it says approximately how much more or less were this year's sales compared to last year's. Now, because from 1, it's becoming 118 by 80. And again, these are not the actual values, but again, whatever the value, it has to increase in this proportion, right? So because that's increasing, we can easily eliminate whatever is mentioned as less in the options, right? So this is increasing. So we can eliminate option D and E. All right, let's proceed. Now we need to, because we are still left with 3 more options, we need to go ahead and calculate this. Now let's go ahead and take a look. It's also mentioned over here that the absolute difference between this year's profit and last year's profit was 72,000, right? So I can say that this 18% increase, which is given over here, is attributed to a change of $72,000. So this 18%, that is 18% of the profit of year 1 or last year, is equal to 72,000. So I can say 18% of P is equal to 72,000, where P is the initial year's profit. So that gives me that P is equal to 72,000 into 100 by 18. So I'm just taking this 18% to the right hand side, and then I can simplify this, right? 18 into 4 gives me 72. So I can cancel this and I can write 4 over here, and 4,000 into 100. So this is equal to 400,000. That's the profit of year 1 or last year. Now let's proceed. Now it's mentioned over here that profit as a percentage of sales in the previous year was 10%. So this P by S in the last year was equal to 10%, and we just now calculated that the profit for last year was 400,000, right? So that means, let me write that over here, P by S is equal to 10%. Now from here I can say that S is equal to P divided by 10% or P by 10 by 100, right? And this is nothing but 10P, right? Again, I'm just writing this over here so that if anyone is confused, you can follow along. But if you divide P by 10%, that's equal to 10P, or 10% is nothing but 0.1. P by 0.1 is 10P. So we can see that sales for the last year is equal to 10P. We already found that the profit for last year was 400,000. So 10P is equal to 4 million, right? 400,000 into 10 gives you 4 million. All right. So let's make some space over here. We have found that the sales for last year was 4 million. Now we also know that if the sales for last year was 1, then the sales for the new year would be 118 by 80, which is the increase, right? So the increase over here is going from 1 to 118 by 80 into 1. So instead of 1, if it was 4 million, then what would be the new sales? It would be 4 into 118 by 80. But again, remember, we only want the increase. We don't want to know the absolute value of the sales in the second year. So you can find that and you can find the difference and still find the answer. But it's easier if you just go ahead and calculate what is asked over here. So this 118 by 80 can be written as 80 plus 38 by 80. Why am I writing it as 80? Because the denominator is also 80, right? So I want to see how much more than 80 it is. So you can see it's 38 more than 80. So the increase is only going to come from this part, right? So 80 by 80 will give you 1 itself. So if 1 is going from 1 to 1 itself, if it was 1 to 80 by 80, there is no increase. But the increase is this part, 38 by 80. So I just need to find out 4 million into 38 by 80 to find the increase, right? So the increase is only 38 by 80. So 1 would have increased by 1 into 38 by 80. So 4 would have increased by 4 into 38 by 80. So let's write that over here. Again, this is not the absolute value of the sales in the current year or year 2. this is only the increase or the difference, right? So I could find out 4, and over here 4 into 118 by 80, and then if I take the difference, or let me write that over here in case someone is confused. So 118 by 80 into 4 and minus 4. If I do that, I'll get 38 by 80 into 4. That's what I'm directly writing over here. That's the difference, right? So that's the increase in sales when you compare the 2 years. And we only need to find this. All right. Now let's also see how you can quickly calculate this. So that's where the calculation technique comes. The second calculation technique that we're discussing in this video. So we want to quickly be able to calculate this. Now, when you take a look at this, you will see that the numerator is 38 and the denominator is 80. Now, you know that half of 80 is 40 and 38 is very close to 40. Now, you may think, how do I think in all these ways? So as you keep practicing calculation, you will try to find these patterns whenever you have to find some value or calculate some value. So over here, you will quickly notice that this 38 over here is close to 40, which if it was the case that this is 40 by 80, it would have been half, right? For 40 by 80 will give you 1 by 2, right? So over here, and then if you take 1 by 2 into 4, that will give you 2 as the answer. But if it was 40, if the numerator was 40, you would have got 2, but the numerator is a little bit lesser than 40, right? So the whatever you're getting over here, 4 into 38 by 80 will be a little bit less than 2, right? It will be a little bit less because this 38 is very close to 40. So therefore, you can eliminate option 1, which is 1 million, right? Because you're getting a value which is a little bit less than 2 million. Remember, this 4 was 4 million. So this 2 is 2 million. So this calculation over here will give you something very close to 2 million, but it's lower than 2 million. Hence, we can eliminate option A, which is 1 million. Let's make some more space over here. Now, let's go ahead and calculate between these two. You can see that I've already marked the answer as 1.9 million. Let's see how you get that. So it's a little bit less than 2 million and I have 2 million. So that would be one reason why I'm not marking 2 and directly going with 1.9. But what if it was like 1.99? Still, we have not calculated it, right? So what if it would have been 1.99? In that case, the question mentions approximately and you would have to mark 2 as the answer. So it's better to go ahead and calculate this. So let's see how much less than 2. We have seen that the answer is a little bit less than 2. Now we are trying to use a calculation technique to evaluate how much less than 2. All right. Now, if it was 40, it would have been 2. We have already seen that. So the difference is, if I want to get from 40 to 38, it is 2, right? So this over here can be rewritten as 4 into 40 by 80, which is what would have given us 2 minus 2 by 80, which is the difference, right? How much less is 2 by 80 into 4? So how much less is 4 into 2 by 80? From here you can see, right? 4 into 38 by 80 can be written as 4 into 40 by 80 minus 2 by 80. So the difference is 4 into 2 by 80. Let me write that over here. So 4 into 2 by 80, you will see that that's nothing but 8 by 80, which is equal to 0.1. So how much less? It's 0.1 million less than 2 million. So that is why the correct answer to this question is option B, which is 1.9 million. Now, remember, you may, if you're not familiar with these calculation techniques, you may feel this is a lot of calculation. Why not just go ahead and calculate it? Now, the thing is, if you can learn this to understand the trend, right, or towards what the answer is leaning towards, then there will be many cases where you don't need to go ahead and do the complete calculation to find the exact value. So over here you may feel that this took a lot of time, but that's because I was just trying to explain it to you in detail, so that if you're new to these techniques, you would be able to imbibe them. But if I were to do it, like let's say I'm just trying to do 4 into 38 by 80, I would not write all of this, right? I would immediately notice that this 38 is very close to 40. So if it was 40, this would be 1 by 2 and this whole expression will be 2. So I'll immediately notice that this is something very close to 2. Now think of a scenario where you just had 1.9 and all the others were and answers were kind of far from 2. Immediately you could find the answer and mark it over here. Now over here you need to find out how much less than 2. Again, without writing all of this, from here itself you can see that it's just 2 by 80 into 4 less than 2 million. 2 by 80 into 4 is 0.1. So 2 minus 0.1 gives me 1.9, which is the answer. So I'm just giving you confidence that if you practice this well, you will be able to solve questions in a much faster manner using these calculation techniques. Alright, so we have done these 3 questions. Now let's quickly analyze what we have learned and try to fill out these learnings into our arsenal so that whenever we want to use this during the exam day, it will be available for you. So the first thing we learned was there were the 2 methods, the variable method and the assume values method to solve these type of questions, and we have applied the assume value method in all the 3 questions so that you can be very thorough with this method. Remember, you should be thorough with this method if you want to use this on the exam day. And we also saw some interesting calculation techniques. Specifically, we saw 2 techniques. The first one was, let's say you have 23 by 15. So you split the numerator into 15 plus 8, and this 15 because this denominator also is 15. Now this can be written as 15 by 15 plus 8 by 15. 15 by 15 is nothing but 1 or 100%. So this over here is 100% plus 8 by 15, which is what you have over here, right? And then we have seen how you can approximate this, right? So 10% of 15 is 1.5. 50% of 15 is 7.5, 60% is 9. So this over here is between 50 and 60%. So 23 by 15 is between 150 and 160%, or in terms of value, it will be between 1.5 and 1.6. So that's the first calculation technique that we discussed. Now, what's the second one? Let's take a look at that. So the second calculation technique that we have learned is, let's say you want to find out 4 into 38 by 80. So immediately you should observe that this 38 is very close to 40, and if the numerator was 40, then you can easily simplify this, right? 40 by 80 can easily be simplified to 1 by 2. So that's the first observation that you should make. All right. So if it was 40, the answer would have been 2. Now, because it is 38, the answer is a little bit less than 2, right? And then how much lesser than 2 is it? So for that, we have seen that 40, if you want to make this to 40, right? You are increasing this over here by 2, or this part is increased by 2 by 80. So how much less? You need to decrease it by the same amount, and in the problem I've written it out in detail so that you can slowly learn it, and then once you're thorough with it, you will improve your speed. So this is actually 2 by 80 into 4 less than 2, right? And 4 into 2 by 80 gives you 0.1, and we know that it's less than 2, and we know that it's 0.1 less than 2. Using these 2 pieces of information, you can arrive at the answer as 1.9. So 4 into 38 by 80 is equal to 1.9. So using these techniques, you can significantly improve your calculation speed. All the best in your preparation, and do remember to subscribe to this channel, like this video if you like more such content, and let me know in the comments how your preparation is going and what more you're planning to do and what other help you would like from this channel. All the very best.